I get all giddy every time I see that. It's like I'm all
uh,
pumped up. Yeah, ooh, all right, dude.
thing is, it ends with basketball, so it always makes me want to go play. So it's
And speaking of play, where are you at
bittersweet.
right now?
I'm at the Hy-Vee Arena, baby. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, you're alone at the Hy-Vee Arena.
Oh no, definitely not. I'm just on a secluded side,
Oh,
Gotta
all
get the
right.
VIP status. I'm back here.
Well, welcome everybody to another episode of The GOAT, and we're happy to have you here. And last week's episode with Ethan George, oh my goodness, was that a cool
Oh
episode?
yes, yes.
Oh man, talking about the transition into college. First year, what it's like. All of a sudden, you're the stud on your high school team, and boom, you're nobody. You're lower than the water.
You're a number on the list. If you look at that
Right.
pecking order, you're not where you used to be. It's definitely a shock to see.
Nobody's giving you that attention. Nobody's giving you the motivation. You're digging deep because you know you want to play. You know you love the game, but this just isn't what you signed up for. It's like, I'm not that stud anymore. Everybody's good.
Yeah. No, I think it's just remarkable the growth he had over a focused weekend. That when he said that his dad came up after he, offered to come just be around, and then getting into the
Yes.
Mind of the Champion workbook and really kind of dissecting some of his fears and really walking directly into them to get just a change. Hearing that to
Right.
me was like a blessing to hear to continue to motivate me to do what we
Right.
do. I really appreciate hearing that story.
Oh, me too. It's just like his dad changed his world in that one weekend just by listening to him. He said, Dad didn't tell me all these things to do. My dad just listened to him. He's one of our new coaches, by the way. And Travis, his father, is a great guy. I'm enjoying him being one of our coaches. So tonight, that brings us to our favorite, one of our favorite people, Adam Hawley, who is he's a local entrepreneur. He's a philanthropist. He does so much he was the president of the Urban League. He has BMG advisors. He gets to live the life of his dreams, but that's not what he's here for. We're here to talk to him tonight about being the
The
father of
parent of an athlete, a
an athlete.
D1 athlete, baby.
Exactly. And he was an athlete himself, D.
Yeah.
He played a little basketball in college. So we're going to dig into what it's like to be an athlete, make the transition from being an athlete to being the parent of an athlete and what that was like for him. So let's have our guest, Adam Hawley. All right.
Welcome, Adam.
What's
Adam,
up,
I
everybody? How
really
we doing?
botched that introduction, so I'm really sorry. But I'm sitting there trying to figure out, okay, he's got, what should I say here? He does this
Yeah.
and he learned from, okay, never mind. I'm going to say Adam Hawley is here with us tonight.
Well, I have to say, first and foremost, just in case, Gwen Grant is the president of the Urban League, and she would kick our ass if she found out that she called me.
Exactly. Thank you for correcting me on that. I wasn't even sure I read it here, and it's like he did what with your.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everything. I was chairman of the board for a little while, but Gwen Grant is the
okay.
boss of that organization. So,
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. I
Thank you
don't
for
want
that
them mad at
clarity.
me.
oh
No,
yeah,
absolutely not.
yeah, she'd come after us, man.
Right.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
You bet. We're excited to have you here, Adam. And where I would like to start off is you started out as an athlete in your younger days. Just briefly run us through that section of your life until you
Yes, please.
turn 21, and then we'll talk a little further.
Well, I started out as a nerd. Um, Way before I was an athlete, I was kind of just a goofy kid who liked my skateboard and my dirt bike and playing video games and collecting baseball cards and stuff like that. But I kept getting taller, so they kept asking me to play sports. And my parents were both athletes. My parents split up when I was little, and so Dad stayed in Kansas. Mom moved us around as she was going back to school to pursue her career.
Right.
So We lived for a little while at Oklahoma State, where she got her master's. She got her PhD at Mizzou, and then she was a professor in the basketball mecca of Indiana. So in 7th grade, I moved to Bloomington, Indiana, and I'm not joking when I say this. I had 2 teammates, brand new to school, and I had 2 teammates that you could tell that they were going to be D1 athletes in 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not joking. I made up my mind in 7th grade. I was probably the only 7th grader in America who said, when I grow up, I want to be a Division II basketball player. Because I just went, these guys are different, man. These guys are just different. And turns out I was right. One of them started all 4 years at Indiana State's, got the rebounding record, and the other one won a national championship at Syracuse. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That is great. And did you play D2?
I did. Yep.
Yay!
I did. Yep.
You achieved your goal.
I set my goal and I achieved it, man.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Good stuff.
So that happened, and then you became a father at 21.
Yeah. So Molly, who is Conrad's mom, she and I were dating. She played volleyball, so I got to give her a lot of credit in all this too, because part of it's genetics and part of it's a hard work, and she brings both to the table as well. So
your kids
Molly
are blessed.
and I, what's that?
Your kids are blessed.
So Molly and I found out we were going to be parents at Fort Hays State, and man, life changed for both of us really quick, you know.
Yeah.
But we decided that it was better off if we never get married. We were engaged for a little while, and we just weren't meant to be together as a couple. But we were both committed to Conrad and did the long distance thing for a couple years. But Conrad was about 4.5, I believe. I don't remember exactly, 4.5 or 5, right in there. When we had a chance to move to Kansas City, where Molly and Conrad already were, and we didn't look anywhere else, man. We just looked right in the same neighborhood, and we've been raising them as one family, 2 houses this whole time. They're the Brocs. She's happily married to Kevin, who's amazing, and my wife Crystal. She's my best friend, and but they're the Brocs. We're the Hawleys. We call ourselves the Broccoli's. So.
The broccoli, I love that. That is so cool. Yeah, what a unique story.
It's it takes a team, obviously, for any relationship, but to raise a child in a split household.
Right.
I guess I don't like to brag, but I think we did a pretty good job. But it takes a lot of work on both sides.
Right.
Amen.
Coordinating calendars to coordinating philosophies to getting on the same page about all kinds of stuff. So,
Adam, I know you said I don't like to brag, but this is a point right here, I think, that is kind of one that kind of goes untalked about and unnoticed. It's like the level of commitment it takes to be in a co-parent type situation, and how you said, I think we did a good job. What does that look like for co-parents? What is a good job?
Well, man, great question. I didn't really expect to talk about that too much, but
I didn't either.
But it's so true, right? I mean, and especially, you get to high level athletes, and how many of them are single parent households? Lots of them.
Bingo.
Probably over half, if I had to guess.
Yes, right? Yes.
So I think it definitely takes commitment. And I would say that from a parent's advice, best advice I can give is bend or you will break. It can't be about you always. You can stand your ground on something that you're committed to, but you got to understand that there's more than one relationship in one household, and bending and not breaking, I think, is probably the number one thing you can do. Because I see a lot of people, they put their foot in the ground and they fight about money, or they fight about something that they're really hurt about, and then it winds up affecting the kid. And you just
well, and that's the point here, Adam. I think it's like, how do you get to that? We decided as adults to not get married or to get divorced or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
What can we do for our child topmost?
Right.
And that is us get along.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Us functioning healthy in a positive way. That's a great lesson to teach kids.
Yep. 100%. 100%, for sure, for sure.
So
What else are you going to talk about?
Well, let's go into those kinds of fun subjects. No, I'm just kidding. The next one is a little twist on that, and it's like, okay, when did Conrad start playing sports, and what did you do with that? Did you just he's tall? Did you just have him play one? Did you have him play different sports?
Yeah. So I should have said one more thing that I think is really important. Back to the family thing is Conrad's got 2 step parents that are absolutely integral in all of this too. And 𝒘𝒊𝒅𝒔 played, I think he played 7. Sorry, Kevin, if you're listening. It might have been 8 years in the NFL. And he's got, all kinds of perspectives and wisdom that have helped with that. And Crystal is the best darn teacher in the world. So she's got the teacher heart too. So that's my wife. So, So anyway, moving forward.
Key point, though. Thank you for saying that, Adam, because step parents play a very pivotal role.
They do. And sometimes I think for them, it's almost harder than being the parent because they love them like it's their blood. Yeah. But it's like they wear this kind of sideways hat that says, I'm not, fully the parent, and they got to do that. And they both have done an incredible job. So
that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. So Conrad, when did he turn into an athlete? Okay, now I'm bragging again, but
do it.
I love it.
I think back when I said that I moved into Bloomington, Indiana, and I walk in and I see these 2 guys, and I know they're going to be my teammates, and I know they're D1 athletes in 7th grade.
Yeah,
I could tell Conrad was different by the age of 2. He just carried himself a little bit differently.
Right.
He didn't have fear like some kids do, like I did.
Right.
This has nothing to do with sports, except I had 2 cars parked in the driveway together, and they were about 3.5 feet apart, maybe 4 feet apart. They were not very far apart. And he was 3 years old, and he had a little John Deere tractor that it was battery powered, and it'd go pretty quick, It had these plastic tires on it. And he came going down the sidewalk, and he turned that thing full speed and fishtailed sideways and slid right in between those 2 cars and didn't hit a thing. And I went, this guy knows spacing. He knows how to hit a hole. And
what was your immediate reaction? Just try to go
basically
save him?
What you guys just did.
Freeze.
Went, okay, that's not normal.
Right.
He didn't slow down or anything. He just spun, and it was just like something on TV. So, and then you put a ball in his hand, and he's throwing it pretty good, and it had just got better and better. But I think one of the other interests that's important to follow is their interest, right? Yeah. Are they the ones doing it, or is it the parents the one pushing it? Because if it's you pushing, you can't do it. Sometimes you got to pull.
Right.
If you pushing all the time, I think that I just don't think it works. I think you burn kids out. You've seen it. I've seen it 100 times.
Right. Did you start it's easy to start when our kids are young and all that, but did you start feeling the vicarious feelings like I want him to win, maybe more than he does? I want him to perform and go to college and do these things. Did you feel that stuff along the way?
Yeah, I did. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I think that I think for me, like if you look at my personality profiles that I know you guys have done 1,000 times or 1,000 times this week, probably. Mine says good, bad, or indifferent, that I care what other people think about me. That's, that's just one of the traits in me. So when I see my kid out there, I was hard on him when I didn't think he was giving his best. And it wasn't about winning or losing or how we performed, but if I felt that he didn't leave it all out there, he heard that from me. And that was my, vicarious piece, I guess. So,
Yeah.
And I'll own that. I don't know if it's all good, but I'll own
that. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Is it a good or bad?
It can be bad. I think as parents and as leaders, we got to be really careful, how manage our kids. Because again, you can, if you're pushing too much and not pulling them, or lifting them up, I think that can go bad in a hurry.
I agree.
When Conrad was young, this was nobody's, it just happened. Just one of those life events. I was actually in the mountains fly fishing, and I get a call coming out of the mountains when I finally had cell phone range, and it was Molly, Conrad's mom, and Conrad had gotten hurt and broke his ankle. And that, just a broken ankle, it's not that big of a deal, but they found this thing called an osteochondral defect when he was in, I should know this by heart. I believe it was second grade. And that can be a pretty serious thing. It's essentially, there's a thing called the talar dome, which is the post of the foot. So if you got your heel that sits like this, it's this part that sits on top of the leg. And that's where the cartilage runs together between your foot and your leg. And osteochondral defect is a softening of that. It's called the talar dome. And that can wear down the cartilage, and that can essentially erode the cartilage, and you're left hobbled for life. I mean, they can be serious things. And the first doctor we saw told us he needs to not walk for a year. You need to put him in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And thank God we went and got a couple of second opinions, and we finally got to Children's Mercy. And this doc had a completely different perspective and said, this kid is fine. Is he hurt? No. Well, then let him go play. If he's hurt, then we'll fix it. But and literally, he was just fine after that. No surgery, no nothing. Just go play. He'll grow out of it. But so I know I put a note about talking about coaches. You got to interview some docs sometimes too, because one doc has said, we want to operate on your kid and he's not going to walk for a year. And the other doc says, let him go play. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. But through that, the doc also, I mean, she's now our saint, right? She's our savior.
Yeah.
So I'm going to listen to every word that she says. And one of the things she said, and I've taken it to heart, and I tell every parent that I can about it, even though I don't think anybody listens to me. Only let your kid play one sport at a time, especially when they're young. And the reason is little bodies need 48 hours of rest between heavy duty physical activity. And so if you got practice 3 nights a week in second grade, that's cool. But if you've got soccer on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and basketball on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're seeing wearing out injuries more and more than they've ever seen them. And so we took that to heart early on and told Conrad that one sport at a time. That was sometimes hard because you get people, especially when you're a good kid, right? You get kids, get coaches call and say, well, we really need them, and it's hard to listen to that. But Molly and I both bought into that, and she was just as supportive of that, and so we stuck to that.
And that makes complete sense. We all, even older athletes, need more rest than even professionals. 60 some games, or it's like, wait, what are we doing to these people? It's like we should give them breaks every now and then. So I am a firm believer in that too.
Yeah, for sure. And you're seeing it at the elite levels now. Pros and even at the college level is different than when I played,
100%. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, one question I had is I wanted to ask is, in the process of this, when did you guys start focusing more on one sport than another? Like, when did that transition start happening?
When he wanted it to. So another great piece of advice we got, we went to Bill Self's father-son basketball camp when he was little. And part of that camp is you get to go as the dads, and they put him in the media room, and you get to ask questions of Coach Self. And I was too much of a fan and too shell-shocked to ask any questions, but some of the dads asked great questions. One of them was, when do I or how do I get my kid exposure, which I think every parent wants to talk about. And Coach Self's response to that was, don't worry about exposure. If they're good, we'll find them, which I think is totally true. But secondly, to answer your question, he also said, do not specialize in sports. Play until the kid gets cut or doesn't want to play it anymore. Let them self-select their way out. And I totally love that. Conrad played basketball and football until his junior year. He did not play basketball his senior year. That was by his choice. Interestingly, he is playing a little bit of catch up now at the D1 level because there's 7 quarterbacks in that room, and he's the only one who is a multi-sport athlete.
Right.
So those guys are throwing a football year round, and
Right.
you guys know the point of deliberate practice, right? So the more hours,
Yes.
and the better you can do. So
Yes.
He's playing a little catch up there, but I don't believe they have any regrets on that. But that's a great question, Coach.
Yeah, and I would agree. I think multi-sports develops you in your sport because you're having to learn other things and learning new rules and learning different. It's like it's only
muscle movements.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I went to play football at the University of Tennessee, I was categorized as an athlete because I was a multi-sport. I mean, martial arts, doing different things. So that's different joint movements, different ligament stretching. There's flexibility that comes involved. My core strength. There's so much that goes in being an athlete. And I think that's kind of where this generation of young guys, they have so much more training younger, getting a one-on-one skills trainer, a one-on-one performance guy, someone's bouncing your nutrition. Like they're getting a lot more high-level stuff a lot younger.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And, Adam, I read a comment that you made about, traveling teams and all the money that's dumped into a lot of that. And it made me smile in a lot of ways because it's like you're exactly right. If you gave them a one-on-one coach, giving them private lessons, doing all these things that cost a fourth as much as all the traveling and the bats and all that kind of stuff, and you're developing their skills and their techniques, and just because they're not traveling doesn't mean that's the only way that you can move forward in a sport.
You mean family vacation, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. The skies.
And listen, there's nothing wrong with family vacation, but let's call it what it is. You can go to Omaha. We went to Omaha, had an awesome time. We went to Cooperstown and played at the Field of Dreams, or I can't remember. That's not what it's called, but I recommend that to everybody who can go. And matter of fact, we made Conrad work to pay for his own way to go to that trip at 12 years old. And
that's awesome.
But he wanted to go, and we supported it, and we went. And I have no regrets that we did that, but because it was a great experience. But it's not going to get you a college scholarship if that's your goal, right? I promise you that.
Right.
The deliberate work and practice is what gets that. So
exactly,
for sure. Mm-hmm.
So now you've got Conrad right now that, for one, talk about the decision to where to go and what to do and all that. What was that like from a parent's standpoint? Like, what advice can you give? He's a senior, or when did he decide, junior or senior year?
He decided his senior year.
Senior year.
Yeah. And I'm not going to do a very good job answering this question because it was, COVID messed it up for all of those kids, so the advice we give now, I don't think will be too applicable, even 5 years from now.
I get that. Even a year from now, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Right. And then at the QB spot, what happened in the quarterback world is kids developed younger. It's normal for highly developed kids or kids that are showing a ton of promise or are already almost there as sophomores to get offers. And once an offer's out, a school's kind of committed to that offer, especially if somebody commits back. And then when COVID happened, and everybody committed early. So Conrad was one of about the top 50 unsigned quarterbacks in the nation, give or take. Might have been 60, might have been 40. I don't know. Fighting for like 12 Power 5 spots in the nation at a quarterback spot. So we were kind of blessed to have one in our backyard. So but it was a stressful time for sure because you got coaches that want him and he's holding out, and his dream was to play in the Power 5, and I totally respect that completely. And he had some offers that were coming through, but and then the other thing about COVID is none of these coaches could see the kid. So he had, I don't know, 4 or 5 legit offers to decide from at one point in time. And it's like, okay, this is what I have in front of me right now. And none of them he had been on campus. None of them they had met in person. You know, the whole thing is doing this. I mean, imagine where you spend your college career doing this.
I can't believe like recruiting trips. This is what you do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just wild. So.
Oh man, that's unreal.
But he's happier than I could have ever dreamed of. He's working his tail off, and you know, just like what you said about Ethan earlier. All these guys are the man in high school, but every single player is the man on their college team, right? So, you know, you got to kind of reshuffle the deck and figure it out. But he's going through that right now and trying to focus on the journey and enjoying it, and he's certainly improving both physically and mentally. So,
you know, you were saying he's enjoying the ride. He's a freshman in a D1 school, stepping into quarterback with lots of other great skills. What's that like for Dad?
Honestly, man, I am good. Yeah. And I said this the other day. We got a little backup because not everybody's going to know this. We didn't even know if we're going to get to play high school football last year because of the whole COVID thing.
Right.
We wound up getting to play. Not only that, we didn't miss a game. And I'll be darned if those boys, including Ethan, didn't go win a state championship, which is a phenomenal way to finish your senior season.
Oh, boy.
Absolutely.
I won one in high school. And so to get to see your kid do it, and he could go play in the Super Bowl. And I promise you, I might have as much fun, but I won't have any more fun than I had. I promise.
Yes.
It's just such a great experience. So with him doing it now, I mean, I'm older and wiser now than I was when I was his age, obviously. And so I know how fast it goes, and I know that it's a process. And so I just talked to him about what your expectations are right now. And, you know, you might not be the starter this year, and that's okay. You know, you get a whole year to learn and grow and be the best teammate you can be and lift somebody else up.
And what happens when he doesn't make it? I mean, he struggles or something, and he comes to Dad. To Dad for the fix, or is it to Dad to listen?
Mainly listen, but isn't it the same thing?
No. No, it's a lot different, dude.
You think?
Oh, it's
way different.
Yeah.
Oh, well, tell me what you mean.
Well, what you just said was
actually don't let him tell us what he means.
Well, one thing that I want to say is it was brilliant. It was brilliant because if you're really good at listening, then it is the same thing.
Right, yeah.
Because you're not fixing their issue. You need to go do this. Let me tell you, you need this. It's like listening is what's going on with you, and then being there for them. And that was kind of what Travis George did last week or a couple weeks ago with his son.
Right.
He was supposed to listen to his pain, and Ethan was like, felt so much better just to have Dad be on his team, understand the pain that he's really in and all those things. And my guess is your son is pretty good at hiding it because he's a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but when we talk, almost sometimes he makes Dad a little uncomfortable with some of the things he talks about. But there aren't very many secrets between us two, and so
that's awesome.
And it's a blessing. It really is. But
it really is.
We talk about sports to girls, man, and it's a lot.
Well, that's what Dad's role is. Dad's role is to be there, and to a certain extent, unconditionally, so that he can come to you and talk to you about drugs, alcohol, girls, sex, all those kinds of things, to be there unconditionally, especially at this age, because he's on his own.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're a different role. You're not the sheriff anymore. You're not making the rules.
Yeah. I mean, and he's got to learn how to be an adult and again, back to Molly and the other parents. And I think we've given him the tools to go succeed. I mean, he can still get checked in from time to time, but he's learning how to fly on his own.
I can speak from personal experience. He is.
Yeah.
I love watching it. It's all that process of growing and not being afraid of being a freshman. I think as I look at myself, I went and thought I was great, and then I got beat up, but then I got afraid to step out and still try to do the behaviors. I was like, oh wow, I'm no good. And I
Right.
curled up for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's
And I
not
think
doing
I think that's totally normal. And I know that he's experienced some of that. I did.
yeah.
Coach D, I don't know about you, man, but I've sat around with a lot of my buddies and said, man, we played the best basketball after our college careers are done.
Oh yeah, for sure. Best
And
football
why
and
is that?
basketball.
Because
For
you're
sure.
playing free, right? You got nothing to play for.
Right.
So that's where you guys come in to teach Conrad how to do that while he's still in college.
You're exactly right. I wish somebody would have taught me that.
Oh man, all of us
Yeah.
old guys feel that way, man, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
You missed out on a lot of development pieces.
Oh yeah,
just
no
a
doubt.
sport and it's fun.
Yeah,
Remember the purpose.
yeah, yeah. And so with that, I don't know how much more time we have, but I do want to say,
Yeah.
give you guys a plug because everybody's getting good. Everybody's getting more skill training than they've ever had before. And the next level of development is going to be right here. And there's no doubt about that in my mind. And I can already see how Conrad's growing. He's had some, not just his parents, but he's had some other great mental coaches and, people in his life that have helped him along the way. And then we brought in professionals who know exactly what they're doing. And if you're serious about developing your kid and your kid is serious about it as well, right? It's got to be both.
Yes.
It's a great investment for sure.
Well, thank you, Adam. And it takes a kid, an athlete that wants to do it. Like you said, they've got to want. There's a lot of parents that may want it for their kids, but if the kid doesn't want it, if the athlete says, it's not for me, then it's just not going to work. And I agree. This is what's going to separate the good from the great.
Mm-hmm.
Is the mental.
Yeah.
And so that kind of brings us to our GOAT tip of the week.
Okay.
And this is a quote from you, my friend. But one of the things that I say this a lot also is, you know what? We tend to look in the future too much and we're anxious about things. And we look in the past and we're usually depressed about something. And it's like when we can learn to live in the moment, that's where the zone is. That's where life happens, is in the moment. And so cherishing every moment, like when you're a father, it's like they're going to do things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Right.
You know what? They're supposed to do things wrong. That's why we're there to be there for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one thing I read in your article, Adam, was, it's cherish every moment, because before you know it, it's gone.
Yeah.
In college now.
Yeah.
It's not that it's gone. It's just that high school state championship. You're never going to get that opportunity again.
No, you're really not. And, some of my favorite memories are actually from baseball. The thing about baseball is you can really isolate a play or a moment because everything's, play by play, and it's a little bit slower game. And, I cherish all of those experiences for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
And what they've done to you in the business world is a blessing. It's it taught you that mentality of what do I need to do to win?
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I'd say almost half of our team is athletes, and there's something about athletes. They and it's not just about winning. That's important. However, I also believe it's about not wanting to let someone else down, and that comes from team sports. And in my job, I think one of the reasons we're winning so much is because I know for a fact that every single person on the team says I'm not going to be the one that lets my teammate down.
Right.
And that's something that I took from team sports for sure.
Well, yeah, that team mentality, it's kind of like the military, it's like the deeper you can build that connection, I'll jump on a bomb for you, whatever it takes. That was Phil Jackson's whole motto of building his team. It's like, if I can get everybody to jump on a bomb for anybody else on the team like they do in the military, I got a real team.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt, for sure.
Damien, I'd jump on a bomb for you.
Say you what now?
I would, man. I'd jump on a bomb for you. You're on my team, dude.
I think a bomb would still take us both out. A grenade, yes.
I've got a lot of cushion.
Bomb, wishful thinking.
Well, Adam, I just wanted to really thank you tonight about this opportunity to meet you and to talk about your son. I love that journey that he's on and that you're on with him as a family, like as a unit. And I know he loves the support that he gets.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been one of the greatest honors of my life, for sure. To he helped me be a man. I had to do that pretty quick when I found out, and I'm certainly thankful for it. But can I say one more thing?
You can.
Absolutely.
Okay. This summer, Conrad and I were hanging out together, and we were having one of our deep talks. And he said to me, and I don't even remember this. He said, "Dad, when I was little, we were talking, and you asked me something." He said, "Do you remember what it was?" I said, "I have no idea what you're talking about, kid."
Yeah.
And he said, "You asked me how I want you to father me." And I said, I said, "Do you want me to be the kind of dad who's just happy and cheers you on all the time? Or do you want me to be the kind of dad who holds you accountable to reach your goals? And I'm good teaching whatever way you want, but I need you to tell me." Yeah. I don't even remember having that conversation.
Wow. Is that amazing that you did?
But he does. And he said, "Dad, I want you to hold me to my goal." And I was probably going to do it anyway.
Right.
But
you got his permission to do it.
Right.
That's
and I think my point of telling you that is man, they're looking up to you, and they're watching everything you do, and they're looking at you to be the coach and to be the best mom or dad you can be for them, because they need it. They need guidance. They need, they got to have room to go, but I kind of see it as like bumpers on the bowling lane. You got to be there.
Right.
But they're watching
them. We got to be on their team. We got to support them. Yeah, it's not to take away all their pain or to fix them. It's to support them on that journey. There's going to be pain.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Awesome, guys.
Appreciate
your time. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ad.
And you have a great holiday weekend.
You too, man. You too. I appreciate it. I'm probably gonna go do a little dove hunting. It's September. So
Ooh, I like it. I read that you like to take care of yourself every year.
Yes. I love that.
Me too. I do that too. I love it.
Do you really good, man? That's good. Yeah, I'm definitely an extrovert by nature, but I like to get away and be alone for a little while.
Great. I love that. That's
awesome.
Well, thank you again. And everybody, I just want to remind everybody, our audience, a little bit that if you're struggling with any kind of mental health issues, if you're struggling with anxiety or depression or any of those things, take the chance to reach out. You can reach out to us, but reach out to somebody, because you don't have to live with the anxiety and the pressure and the guilt and the shame. It's like you deserve to be happy. So make sure you take care of you and put you first. And I will see you all next week. Bye.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adam. See you.